Hi, hello. Happy Ganesha Chaturthi to all of you. This is my first lecture on solid state IIT NEET rapid contest concept revision here in this. All topics are covered as per the NEET JEE CET level by YRK Mohan. Okay. Shall we move to the class? Let us start the class. Here, if you see this introduction of solid state, the matter contain constant particles are, atoms, molecules, ions, which are closely packed in solids. And that's why solids are defined as the form of matter which possesses rigidity, and also they possess definite shape, and also they have definite volume. Unlike gases and liquids, whose fluidity is determined by the relative free motion of their molecules, in solids, which is different, and the molecules and atoms and ions are not free here, are not free to move, but can oscillate around their fixed positions due to strong intermolecular or interatomic or interionic forces. And this confers rigidity and long range order in solids. Okay. You can see this is the closed packing of NaCl. This is the closed packing of cesium chloride. Next. See the characteristics of solids. Some of the common properties of solids which distinguish them from the other two states of matter. They have rigid and definite shapes, and they have definite volume irrespective of size and shape of the container which they are placed, and they are almost incompressible, have compressibility which is approximately 10 power 6 times more than gases. Many solids have crystalline appearance and have definite pattern of angles and planes. Solid diffuse very slowly compared to liquids and gases, and constant particles are very closely packed in solids, permitting very little space for their movement. Solids have much higher density and mass to volume ratio than that of gases and liquids. More solids become liquids when heated, and some undergo sublimation on heating. And the temperature at which a solid changes to liquid is called melting point, and the process is called as melting. Due to varying nature of solids, their melting temperatures are vary considerably. In solid state atoms, ions, molecules are arranged orderly in three-dimensional manner. Due to strong binding forces, due to this arrangement, solids acquire rigidity and definite geometry, shapes, or crystalline structures. In this, they have definite mass shape, molecular distance is short, forces are strong, the particles are fixed positions, oscillate about their mean position, they are incompressible or rigid. Annealing properties for amorphous substances on heating at a certain temperature may attain crystal nature, while on cooling regains its amorphous nature. This phenomenon is called annealing. Glass on cooling, keeping in semi-solid state for a long time, on cooling, it melts very slowly, becomes opaque due to development of crystals in it. Isotropy. Amorphous solids, on the other hand, are isotropic in nature. It is because there is no long range order in them, and the arrangement is irregular along all the directions. Therefore, the value of any physical property would same along any direction. Well, let us use anisotropy. Crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. Some of their physical properties like electrical resistance and refractive index show different values when measured along different directions in the same crystals. This arises from different arrangement of particles in different directions. Now see the classification of solids. Properties of different solids suggest that behavior of solids not only depend on nature of constituent particles but also on their arrangement. On the basis of arrangement of their atoms, ions, molecules, solids are broadly classified into two groups. Crystalline solids. In crystalline solids, constants are arranged in definite orderly manner, definite geometry with flat faces and sharp edges, and such solids have sharp melting points, considered true solids. They have anisotropy, which is different physical properties in different directions due to orderly arrangement of constant particles. Also, they show cleavage property along fixed cleavage planes. Normally incompressible, we have diamond, quartz, sodium halides, calcium fluoride, zinc sulfide are the examples for it. All elements and compounds are of this kind or crystalline. Amorphous solids, constant particles are not arranged in regular or orderly manner over a long range. Not arranged. So solids do not show short melting points. They are pseudo solids. They show isotropy, which is same physical properties in all directions due to irregular arrangement. Do not show cleavage property. They have irregular cut. Rubber, plastic, glass are the examples for it. You can see the crystalline solids, so amorphous solids in a different way. That is, solids in crystalline solids, constant particles are arranged in fixed pattern. In amorphous, we have constant particles are arranged randomly. Having sharp melting point for crystalline solids, this is the graphical condition. No sharp melting point, they melt over a range, that is amorphous. In a crystalline solid, they are anisotropic in nature, and in the amorphous solids, isotropic in nature. Crystalline solids are also called true solids, and amorphous solids are called pseudo solids or supercooled liquids. Crystalline solids, we have sodium chloride, diamond quartz are examples, while that of amorphous solids, we have rubber, glass, plastic can be taken as examples. Properties of these crystalline and amorphous solids differences, you see. This is the long range order, short range order. Short melting, do not have short melting points. And external form, that means regularity in the external form will be there in crystals, and sharp edged knife when you cut it. So crystalline solids give regular cut, amorphous solids give irregular cut. Characteristic heat of fusion is there for the crystalline solids, and characteristic heat of fusion is not there for amorphous solids. In the physical state, solids are hard and rigid in the crystalline nature. Short is not distorted by mild distorting forces, while that of amorphous solids comparatively sharp, soft, not very rigid. They can be distorted by bending or compressing forces. Anisotropic and isotropic notches also observed here in this case. Isotropic are amorphous, anisotropic crystalline. Canada balsam is example for this property. Thermal expansions and different directions due to the orderly arrangement, while that of various physical properties are same in all directions for amorphous solids because of the random arrangement of particles. Examples observed here. Now, classification of crystalline solids on the basis of nature of bonding. The crystalline solids have been classified into four types mainly. We have covalent, ionic, metallic, molecular solids. Let us see. In the molecular solids, constant particles are molecules, while that of in metallic particles, metallic crystals, positive metal ions or kernels and mobile electrons are the constant particles. Covalent, we have atoms are there, ionic ions are there, the constant particles. Molecular dispersion, dipole interaction, hydrogen bonding. These are the attractive forces. And examples we have argon, HCl, and the examples H2O. It comes under dipole interactive forces and hydrogen bonding, paraffin wax. The examples. And physical nature is soft for molecular solids, whereas electrical conductivity is they are insulators. So here water is comes under the molecular solids. Dipole interaction is there in the water case. Hydrogen bonding is also there in water. Dipole interaction HCl also there. Coming to metallic crystals, positive ions and electrons, delocalized electrons are in the case. They are responsible for the attractive forces, and silver, copper, magnesium are the examples for metallic. Physical nature is ductile and malleable for metallic nature, metallic conductors, metallic crystalline solids. Electrical conductivity is good for this one, for metallic conductors. While that of covalent, we have covalent bonding, electron sharing is there, attractive forces. SiO2, silicon carbide, carbonadium we can call diamond. The physical nature is hard, they are insulators. And the ionic solids we have NaCl, MgO, KCl, BaCl2, etc. comes under this one, hard and brittle in the conductors in molten state and also in aqueous solution. These are the different classifications of types of solids, crystalline solids on the basis of their forces of attractions. Now this can be observed with the bond energies here. Ionic we have 400 to 4000 kilojoules per mole is their bond energy between cation and anion. Melting points 1300 Kelvin. Highest value is their conductors. They are sodium chloride, KCl, CaOLAF are the examples. Covalent or network solids we have atoms are there in this bonding energy. Binding energy is 150 to 500 is there. Extremely high melting point is there in the case of diamond and graphite. And covalent bonds are there, insulators, diamond, silicon carbide, aluminum nitride are the examples of this one. Coming to molecular solids, the molecules having the van der Waals forces of attractions and melting points are lesser than the 273 Kelvin. And binding energy is also less than 40 kilojoules per mole, insulators. Dry ice comes under this one, I2, solid argon, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. as examples for the molecular crystalline solids. Metallic crystalline solids, metallic bonds are there, and melting point is 800 to 1000 Kelvin. Range is there. And binding energy between 80 to 1000 kilojoules. Conductors, all metals, most of the alloys. So we have a question is there, when a chemical element is found to be polymorphic, the different crystalline forms of element are known as allotropic forms. Carbon is polymorphic element, graphite and diamond are the both allotropic forms of carbon. Then sulfur is an element that occurs in two forms, thus rhombic sulfur and monoclinic sulfur are dash of sulfur. Where phosphorus and red phosphorus and yellow phosphorus are crystalline forms of phosphorus. Therefore, phosphorus is called dash substance. So the first one is allotropes of sulfur. Second one is polymorphic. Crystal lattices. Early in the history, the modern science, it was suggested that regular external form of crystals implied an internal regularity of their constants. In this section, we'll see how to describe the arrangement of atoms inside the crystal. Lattices and unit cells. So that we'll call it as structural motifs. That means a crystal build up from regularly repeating structural motifs, which may be atoms, molecules, a group of atoms. A space lattice is nothing but the pattern formed by the points repeating the locations of these motifs. You can see the diagram here. This is the structural motif. Each lattice point specifies the location of structural motif. For example, a molecule or a group of molecules. Crystal lattice is the arrangement of lattice points. The crystal structure is a collection of structural motifs arranged according to the lattice. And moreover, the space lattice is not in effect abstract Scaffolding for the crystal structure. More formally, space lattice is three-dimensional. It's a space lattice is a three-dimensional one. An infinite arrangement of points in which is surrounded in an identical way by its neighbors and which defines the basic structure of crystal. In some cases, there may be a structural motif centered on each lattice point, but this is not necessary. The crystal structure itself is obtained by associating with each lattice point an identical structural motif. Coming to the what is unit cell? Unit cell is an imaginary parallelepiped that contains one unit of translationary repeating pattern. So unit itself can be thought as fundamental region from which the entire crystal may be constructed by the purely translational displacements like bricks in a wall. A unit cell is commonly formed by joining neighboring lattice points by straight lines. You will see the diagram. In such unit cells are called as primitives. Sometimes more convenient in draw larger non-primitive unit cells that have lattice points at their centers on pairs of opposite faces. An infinite number of different unit cells can be described, same lattice, but one with sides that have shortest lengths and that are most nearly perpendicular to one another is normally chosen. And the length of sides of unit cells are denoted by ABC, and the angles between them denoted by alpha, beta, gamma. I'll see the diagrams. So this is the diagram, second one. The unit cell is parallel sided, not necessarily rectangular here. And this entire crystal structure can be constructed by using only translations, not reflections, rotations, inversions. This is the second one. Third one, you see, the unit cell can be chosen in a variety of ways. As shown here, it is the conventional to choose the cell that represents the full symmetry of the lattice. In this rectangular lattice, the rectangular unit cell would normally be adapted. Now let's see, unit cells are classified into 7 crystal systems. So how many are there? 7 crystal systems, by noting that rotational symmetry elements by their poses. A cubic unit cell, for example, has 4 three-folded axes in tetrahedral arrangement. That is in this diagram we are observing. And a monoclinic unit cell has 2-fold axis in the unique axis by convention by axis 20 points, B axis here. You'll see that one. So what we have taught here is 20.4. The diagram is observed in this one. Yeah. The lengths and sides of the unit cell are denoted by ABC and the angles are alpha, beta, gamma. That's what we are observing in this diagram. This is A side, this is B side, C side. And the angle between A and B is gamma. Angle between A and C is beta. Angle between B and C is alpha. Okay. Now in this, essential symmetries are that we'll see in this picture. So triclinic unit cell has no rotational symmetry, and typically there are 3 sides and angles are different in that case. We'll see the diagram. So there are how many space lattices are there? 14 are there, 3 dimensionals. That we'll call it as Bravais lattices. So in that, a primitive unit cell is denoted by P symbol, a body centered unit cell is denoted by I, also a lattice point in its center, and a face centered unit cell is with the F symbol as lattice point at its corners and also at the centers of its 6 faces. And sides centered unit cell, also called as here we will see ABC as lattice points at corners and at the center of the 2 opposite faces, side centered. You will call it as end centered. For example, structures, you will see often convenient to choose an atom belong to structural motif or center of the molecule. We'll see that one. The location of the lattice point, the vectors of the unit cell but it's not necessary for the requirement in that case. You can see here, a unit being belonging to the monoclinic system has a two-fold axis. This is C2. So two-fold axis is there, denoted by C2 in this picture. Detailed insert, if you just keep it inside. Next. A triclinic unit cell has no axis of rotational symmetry in this one. The triclinic is example for this. We have P primitive. This is face centered. This is body centered. There are symbols here. Cubic, 3 are there. Tetragonal, 2 are there. Orthorhombic, all 4 are there. So simple cubic. This is end centered, or you can call it as centered, side centered. This is body centered, and this is face centered. So here we have one type is there. Here we have one type is there, second type. This is a third type is there. So this monoclinic we have 2 are there, that is fourth type. And triclinic only 1 is there, that is fifth one. Hexagonal we have sixth one, and trigonal we have seventh one. So these are the 7 are there. But in this we have simple cubic 3 are there. Total, this is 3 number. And this is 2. And this is 4. These are 2. These are 1, 1 each. So what is the number we have? 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. You can count it. 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 2, 11, 11 plus 3, 14. These are the Bravais lattices. Next. And these 7 crystal systems intercepts ABC relations and interfacial angles given in this table form with examples. You can also go through in the textbook at the total 14 how came and all we have shown. And this we have triclinic completely all are different in this case. While that of monoclinic we have all the intercepts are different. You can observe, particularly in hexagonal, when gamma is coming 120, easy to remember, that is hexagonal. And whereas we have graphite is a best example in that case. Monoclinic copper sulfate is there, dihydride, that is gypsum. And tetragonal, we have C is not same, all are same, angles are same, 90 degrees in the first 3 cases, cubic, orthorhombic, tetragonal. Easy to remember this one. Okay, like this. So for this, there is shortcut again will be discussed in the shortcut class. Now once again see what is space lattice or 3D lattice. That is arrangement of lattice points showing arrangement of constant particles in different positions in 3-dimensional space is called a space lattice. Mathematically, 3-dimensional space lattice is generated by repeated translation of 3 non-coplanar vectors ABC. Yeah, this is the thing. That's what we saw in the diagram. These are called as dimensions of this unit cell, A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma. This is what representation of space lattice in a unit cell. Now, these 7 pictures observed. This is simple cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic. You can see all gamma, alpha, beta, gamma 90. So rhombohedral, where ABC are same. Monoclinic, ABC, triclinic, ABC not same. But hexagonal we have gamma is 120, but AB not same. AB is same, B not equal to C. So that is the diagram picture, 3-dimensional. And the same we can see in this picture also with different way colors, right? So cubic comes under example, we have diamond, zinc sulfide, sodium chloride, potassium chloride example, tetragonal, ammonium bromide, tin stone, titanium dioxide, examples. Orthorhombic, rhombohedral, hexagonal, we have CDS is there, zinc oxide is there, monoclinic, triclinic, potassium dichromate, best example. Triclinic example also they'll ask. Next one. Once again, see what is unit cell? Unit cell is a small repeating unit in the crystallites. The geometry of unit cell depends on intercept made on the three crystallographic axes ABC, and ABC angle between them is alpha, beta, gamma. So this is the cubic unit cell. The systems, once again you observe Bravais lattices. P stands for primitive, F stands for face centered, B stands for body centered. So orthorhombic, we have all four types are included in this one, except that one. Remaining all we have different types of crystals are there, and but every system we have primitive is there. Check it, primitive unit cell. And rhombohedral we have primitive is there, and triclinic primitive is there, hexagonal primitive is there. In these three, only one type of unit cell is there. Tetrahedral we have, tetragonal we have body centered including primitive is there. So this difference you can observe. Now types of unit cells, simple or primitive. This is the one atom is present in each corner of the unit cell, that is called a simple. Face centered, atom present in the each corner as well as on each face of the center. See here, this is corner, this is face centered, and body centered. See, atom is present on each corner as well as body centered. This is body centered. This is corner. What is end centered or base centered? That is E. Atom is present on each corner as well as at only one set of opposite face center. This is one face. This is one face. These both the faces are opposite faces. These are opposite faces. So this is face centered. This is face centered. Opposite faces. One is the remaining are corners. So how many Bravais lattices are there? 14 are there. In cubic system, there are only three types of unit cells are there: simple, face centered, and body centered. That you have to remember. Next, effective number of atoms in the unit cell. How to calculate? So let us see. First point. A point that lies at the corner of the unit cell is shared among 8 unit cells. Therefore, only 1/8 of each such point lies within the given unit cell. So that is 1/8 is its contribution. The second one, see, this is what you can understand. This corner contribution here, if you see, this contribution is 1/8. And a point along edge is shared by 4 unit cells. And only 1/4 of its lies within unit cell. 1/4 is the contribution. For the edge center and face centered, we have 1/2 is there. That is 1/2. That face centered point is shared by how many? 2 unit cells. So only 1/2 of it is present in a given unit cell. Body centered lies actually entirely within the unit cell, so contributes 1 complete point of the unit cell. So that is 1. So total number of atoms in unit cell formula I can write like this. That is total number of atoms formula is Nc/8 plus Nf/2 plus Ni/2 plus Ne/4. What is Nc stands for? Number of atoms at the corners of the unit cell. What is Nf stands for? Number of atoms at 6 faces of the unit cell. What is Ni stands for? Number of atoms completely inside the unit cell, that is body center. What is Ne? Number of atoms at the edge centers of the unit cell. Okay. So we have this calculation, simple cubic unit cell. Total number of atoms per unit cell is 1 only. Why? Because here we have NC is 8, remaining all are 0. So answer is 1. Whereas body centered cubic, we have NC is 8, Ni is 1. So 8 by 8 is 1, 1 by 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. Face centered cubic, we have NC is 8, NF is 6. So 8 by 8 and 6 by 2 is 4. So likewise, you can calculate it. So you can see once again this calculation in this small picture. Corner contribution is 1 by 8 and number of position in the unit cell is 8. Body diagonal is 4 and face fraction of that one is 1. Face centered is 1 by 2. Body centered is 1, fully enclosed in that one. So number of positions in unit cell is 1 for body centered. Face centered is 6. Head centered it is 12. Okay. So this can be practiced. Next, move to the metallic solids. The structure we'll see. And this closed packing structure is there. 3-dimensional closed packed structure is there for this. Here in the second diagram, the second layer of the closed packed spheres occupies the dips of the first layer. That is AB component of the closed packed structure shown here. And in this A diagram, third layer of closed packed spheres might occupy the dips lying directly above the spheres of the first layer, multiplying, resulting ABA structure. This is ABA structure. So this is A, this is B, this is A. Coming to the next one is alternative B structure. If you see alternative, the third layer might be lying the dips that are not above the spheres in the first layer, resulting ABC structure, which corresponds to cubic closed packing. A, B, C, like this. Next, a fragment of the structure shown here, revealing that hexagonal is a hexagonal. And another one is the cubic symmetry is there in this. The tints of the spheres are the same as for the layers in this figure. In this figure, same as this one in this figure. Next, the crystal structure of the some elements, if you see HCP, these are the elements. FCC, also called as CCP, cubic face centered. As examples, argon, aluminum, silver, etc. Base, body centered, we have barium, cesium, chromium, iron, potassium, lithium. Examples are the cubic primitive, that is polonium is example here. Closed packed structure of this one is star is indicated as closed packed structure FCC. Loosely packed structures are there. We have this number of common metals set up structure of that are less than closed packers. The departure from the closed packing structure, that factors such as specific covalent bonding between the neighboring atoms beginning to influence the structure and impose a specific geometrical arrangement. One such arrangement results in the cubic body centered, that means BCC, which one sphere at the center of the cube formed by 8 corners. That is coordination number is 8. But there are 6 more atoms not much farther away from 8 nearest closed packed structures. 0.74 is the occupation. Here in BCC we have 0.68 is the occupation. If you see, you can understand that loose packed arrangement is BCC compared to FCC. And ionic solids, the structure if you observe, the ratio will decide the structures, and in this the ratio between the cation radius and anion radius will decide the coordination number as well as the geometry. While that of cesium chloride, we found that the ratio coordination number is 8:8. Cesium chloride structure, best packing can be achieved in this case. surrounded by 8 anions, surrounded by 8 cations. So this is a cesium chloride structure consists of two interpenetrating simple cubic arrays of ions, one of the cations and the other anion, so that the cube ions of one kind that has counter ion at its center. This is so counter ion means that is opposite ion. So structure is adapted by cesium chloride itself, also by calcium sulfide and cesium cyanide, with some small distortion is there, and copper zinc alloy also having the same thing. So that means the coordination number of an ion is the number of nearest neighboring opposite charge. Structure itself is characterized by having n plus n minus, that is coordination number. Now that is for cesium it is 8, sodium that is 6, and finally the relation between this radius ratio is deciding the geometry, smaller by larger, that is r plus by r minus, or rc by ra, sorry, ra by rc. Just a minute. Yeah. So here cation to anion ratio, that is 0.72 came for cesium chloride, more than that came, while that of sodium chloride is lying in between 0.45 to 0.72. That's why coordination number is 6 for sodium chloride and 8 for cesium chloride, and including some other salts like potassium chloride, silver chloride, magnesium oxide also there in this. See the sodium chloride structure, it consists of two mutually interpenetrating, slightly expanded, face-centered cubic arrangement of ions. The entire assembly is shown here is unit cell. While that of sphalerite structure of zinc sulfide, so in the location of zinc atoms in the tetrahedral walls, this is tetrahedral wall, by arrangement of sulfur atoms. Here, one atom is there inside this one, center of the cube, inside the tetrahedron. Here, this is sulfur, this is zinc. Next, molecular solids and covalent networks. Covalent networks, definite spatial arrangement is there. The demands of directional bonding, which have only small effect on structures of many metals. Non-override of the geometrical problem of packing spheres together. And elaborate extensive structures may be formed here, including silicon, red phosphorus, boron nitride. Very importantly, we have diamond graphite also there, and carbon nanotubes also there, which we discuss in detail. Diamond, if you take the diamond and graphite, they are the allotropes of carbon, and the diamond having sp3 hybridization, and tetrahedral units are there, 4 neighbors. The neighbor network is carbon-carbon bonds repeated throughout the crystal. As a result, the diamond is said to be the hardest known substance. While that of graphite, if you take sigma bonds between sp2 hybridized carbon atoms, forms hexagonal rings repeated throughout the plane, give rise to sheets, because the sheets can slide against each other when impurities are present. So graphite is used widely as lubricant. So this is what the structure, the fragment of the structure of the diamond here. Each carbon atom is tetrahedrally bonded to 4 neighbors. So this framework as a like structure results the rigid crystal structure of diamond. Let us see, the graphite consists of flat planes, here flat plane, hexagons of carbon atoms lying above the one another. So this arrangement of carbon atoms on a sheet, and the relative arrangement of neighboring sheets. And you see, this is the relative arrangement. When impurities are present, only then planes can slide over one another easily making graphite is a lubricant. Molecular solids. So overwhelming majority of modern structural determinations are held together by van der Waals interactions here. We observed the crystal structure of nature solutions. The problem of condensing the objects of various shapes into aggregate minimum energy. Actually, temperature is greater than zero of minimum Gibbs energy. The prediction of structure is very difficult to ask. So the problem is made more complicated by the role of hydrogen bonds, which in some cases dominate the crystal structure like ice as shown, but in others, for example, phenol, a distort structure that is determined largely by the van der Waals interactions. So in this picture, we have each oxygen atom is the center of the tetrahedron, or the 4 oxygen atoms, the distance of 276 picometers is there. This is H2O ice only here shown. And this overall structure consists of planes of hexagonal puckered rings of H2O molecules, like the chair form of cyclohexane. This is the H2O ice. Let us see the X-ray studies of crystals. X-ray diffraction (XRD) is a versatile, non-destructive technique that reveals detailed information about the chemical composition and crystallographic structure of natural and manufactured materials. Suggested by Mr. Wang Louis, 1913, and it might be possible to diffract X-rays by means of crystals. This reason suggestion was the wavelength of X-rays was about the same order as 10 power minus 8 centimeters as the interatomic distances in the crystal. So in fact, Bragg succeeded in diffracting X-rays from sodium chloride crystals. These observations have proved to be highly useful in determining the structures and dimensions of crystals, as well as study of number of properties of X-rays themselves. Yeah, this is NaCl shown. Your experiment here show that crystal of sodium chloride consisting constants Na plus and Cl minus ions are present, alternative sites here shown. Though the shown in a 2 dimension, this systematic long range order is also found in 3 dimensions we have. So with each Na plus surrounded by 6 Cl minus ions, coordination number 6, the order is due to strong Coulombic force of attraction between Na plus and Cl minus. So similar regular arrangements are found in other solids also. So if you see the crystal solid, the constant particles are arranged in regular order in crystalline solids. The particular crystalline solid with the X-rays helps in investigating the actual structure of it. So crystals are found to act as diffracting gratings for X-rays, and this indicates that constant particles in the crystals are arranged in planes at close distances and repeating patterns. If you see the X-ray tube is there, this X-ray beam is going on its crystal, and a shield is kept here, that is photographic plate here, this is, and how the X-rays, the reflection is happening, that means from the crystal. That is the Bragg equation. Bragg pointed that scattering of X-rays. So this is what in this picture we saw, this scattering of X-rays. Consider the reflection from successive planes of the atoms of crystals. The process was based upon the principle that crystal may be considered to be made up of number of parallel equidistant atomic planes as represented by lines of A, B, C, D, E, F. AB is one line, CD is one line, EF is one line. In the adjacent figure, here see this figure. So we have, this is the planes here. In this, you can observe what is the angle made by this Y, that is theta, incident theta, diffraction is theta here, Z is making the angle here. So considering this one, some of the two waves are X and Y, X-ray beams, which are in phase fall on the surface of the crystal. If the ray Y gets reflected from the first layer, AB line, and the ray Z is reflected from the second layer of atoms, CD lines here, see Z, so it goes up to, the Z is going up to the second line, So CD line is going. And then evident that the compared to the ray Y, ray Z has a travel long distance. The QRS is a long distance traveled here. This is the distance traveled. This much distance is traveled. So the difference in distance traveled by two rays may be equal to the integral multiples of wavelength here taken. So QRS is going lambda taken, and QR and RS here. QR and RS. Yeah, this can be taken as S here. Total distance extra, that is n lambda, and of that, the distance between the successive atomic planes is taken as d, PR, that is PR here. This is d, that is equals to PR also. Then after, it is 2 times of it. So QRS is 2 times of it. Then the n lambda became 2d sin theta. Here you can observe this is the value 2d sin theta. This value is d sin theta, and QR value also d sin theta. So this equation is called as Bragg equation, and thus Bragg gave a mathematical equation on to establish the relation between wavelength of the incident X-ray, the distance between the layers, that is d, and the angle of diffraction theta. So that is lambda theta d. Their relation is called as Bragg's equation. Now the lambda is X-ray wavelength, and theta is the angle between the incident X-rays and plane of crystal. Diffracted beam makes an angle of 2 theta here, and d is the distance between the planes of the constant particles in crystal. N is an integer here, 1, 2, 3, which represents the serial order of diffracted beams here. N is 1 means first order diffraction, like that. So theta increasing gradually, the number of positions will be found which reflections will be maximum, as all these positions will have values equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Generally experiments X-ray reflections N is set equal to 1. Usually we'll keep it 1. If lambda is known, then possible you determine d easily. That's why crystal by determining theta experimental, and similarly in interplanar distances are given, then if the corresponding wavelengths of incident beam X-ray can be easily calculated. So this is the problem. See, X-rays of wavelength 1.54 angstrom strike a crystal and are observed to be deflected at an angle of 22.5 degrees. Assuming that n is equals to 1, calculate the placing between the planes of atoms that are responsible for the reflection. Placing means d. You have to find d. So Bragg equation, in this if you substitute the values, we'll get 2.10 angstrom for it. Next one, at what glancing angle would be first order diffraction from 110 plane of KCl observed using X-ray of wavelength of 154 picometers. The dimensions of unit cell is 315 picometers here given. That is the first order diffraction, n is equal to 1 and lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. Lambda value 154 picometers given and d value given 315. Of substitution, theta value got 14.1 degrees because they asked the glancing angle. So that is theta. Next, determine the interplanar spacing between the 2 to 0 planes of cubic lattice of length 450 picometers. So you have to find d value, that is formula, that is a by root h square plus k square plus l square. So this is HKL and substituted, got 159 picometers. First order X-ray reflection lambda is equal to 154. Maximum from a set of 200 planes of a body center cubic lattice was observed that 16 degrees 66 minutes. Calculate the length of the edge of unit cell. First of all, if we find that D200 value from this expression, we'll get 280 picometers, and that 280 You'll be substituting in this one, you'll get A value 560 picometers. Next, X-rays of wavelength 0.154 nanometers strike the aluminum crystal. The rays are reflected at an angle of 19.3 degrees, assuming n value is 1, calculate spacing between the planes of aluminum atoms responsible for the angle of reflection. Same model like the previous one, substituted the theta value and converted the nanometers into picometers. 233 came. Next, law of rationality of indices or intercepts. So these are the ABC intercepts. See the ratio between intercepts on crystallographic axis of the different faces of crystal always expressed by rational numbers. Here LMN, to take LMN here as intercepts OL, this is OL, OM is B, and ON, that is C. Here along XYZ axis of lengths, X is 2A, Y is 4B, and Z is 3C respectively given, where OA is A, OB is B, OC is C, taken as unit distances. The intercepts are in the ratio 2:4:2A:4B:3C is given here. These are called as V's indices. These indices may have any values integers, fractionally, or at infinity. Miller indices. The reciprocals of these indices and multiplying throughout the smallest number to make integers known as Miller indices. Represented by HKL and planes as HKL. For example, 1, 1, 2 plane is there. H is 1, K is 1, L is 2. So, how we got this one is from this V's indices only. So, there is this distance between the planes and a crystal is designated by DHKL. For different cubic lattices of interplanar distances, that formula we have used for calculation. This is A by square root of S square plus K square plus L square. Crystallographic axis. These are the three perpendicular lines meeting at a common point called as crystallographic axis, XYZ. Angles are alpha, beta, gamma, and the intercepts are ABC. So more about the law of rational indices, if you check it in this one, you'll know intercepts of axis X, Y, and Z. You can study from mathematical discussion, so you can observe it. One face ADFG. Take ADFG. This is the face. ADFG is the face they're discussing. Of a face BCEH. BCEH, the backside one. Intercept of X here. On the face of ABHG and DCEF will be infinitive, since X-axis can never cut these faces. ABHG, this one, this face, and DCEF face. This is the face. Intercepts will be infinitive. Intercepts of Y, intercept Z also discussed in the same fashion. Next, symmetry in crystal systems. We have plane of symmetry, axis of symmetry. What is plane of symmetry? Which divides a crystal into two parts in such a way that one part is mirror image of other one. You can check it out here. This is plane of symmetry. Regular planes of symmetry, 3 such planes here given here. What is the axis of symmetry? It is a line with the crystal may be rotated such that it represents the same appearance more than once during the complete revolution. Another one is center of symmetry. So center of symmetry is a point such that any line drawn through it insets the surface of crystal at equal distances in both directions. Let us see the diagrams. We have 3 are there, this plane of symmetries in the first case, and remaining 6, we'll see how the diagrams are there. These are the diagonal planes of symmetry here shown. So total 9 are there. Coming to the rational symmetry or axis of symmetry, we have fourfold symmetry. There are 3 axes are there. Such axes are there here like this. These are 3, and these are 3. Total 6 are there. And these are twofold axis symmetry. Here 6 are there. And axis of threefold symmetry, 4 are there. So total here 6, and here we have yes, you can count 3 plus 6 plus 4, 13. Okay, so that's why here we have observed how many in the list. The list we have observed axis of symmetry 13 and plane of symmetry 9 and center of symmetry is 1. Total is 23 should come. And this is the inversion symmetry or center of symmetry. So this is the crystal process, inverse symmetry. Every line drawn through the center of the crystal will connect two identical features on opposite sides of the crystal. Let us see the question. A solid has a structure in which X atoms are located at the cube corners of the unit cell, and OI atoms are located at the center of the cube edges. Na atom at the cube center. What is the type of lattice represented by this compound? Also suggest a molecular formula for the compound. See the arrangement, if the X they given corner is 1 into 8 is 1, and oxygen they told it is located at the center of the cube edges. Edge center is 1 by 4. So 12 into 1 by 4, 12 edges are centers are there. Of that number of atoms, sodium atoms is 1 because it is at the center is there. So sodium is 1, X is 1, oxygen is 3. So NaXO3 is the formula. Next, a solid A plus B minus has NaCl type closed packed structure. If the radius of the anion is 250 picometers, what is the radius of cation? We have a formula Rc by Ra is 0.414 for sodium chloride, and substituting this one I got 103.5 picometers. Next, potassium chloride crystallizes in the same type of lattice as does NaCl, and the given RNaCl by Cl minus is 0.5, RNa plus by K plus is 0.7. And calculate the ratio of the side of the unit cells of KCl to that of NaCl. The first problem. The second one is the ratio of density of NaCl to that of KCl. Let us see. They have told that NaCl crystallizes, potassium crystallizes, KCl crystallizes like that of NaCl. So NaCl crystallizes in FCC. That's why we have taken RNa plus plus RCl minus gives rise to K by 2. And in this RNa plus by RCl is given as 0.5, and RNa plus by RK plus given 0.7. So these two equations we have taken. Of that, in these two equations simplified, we got RNa plus plus Cl minus by RCl minus is 1.5, RK plus by RCl minus value simplification got 0.5 by 0.7, because this is a cancellation of terms only in this. Okay, so on adding 1 to both the sides of this equation, that is what happened. That is RK plus RCl minus by RCl minus is equals to 0.2 by 0.7, 1.2 by 0.7. So how we got this value, we can tell easily. This RK plus by RCl minus, for this we have added 1 only. So that means Rk plus by RCl minus plus 1 will become Rk plus plus RCl minus by RCl minus. So 1 plus this value again, we got this one. Okay, the second equation, this is first equation. We are divided, or that we got this R K plus plus RCl minus by R Na plus plus RCl minus. Final simplification you got is the value 1.2 by 1.05. Come to the second question, the ratio of density of NaCl to that of KCl. Observed the density and this edge length inversely proportional. How inversely proportional? Cube of the edge length is inversely proportional to this density. So taken that one, this value here, and molar masses of these compounds are substituted. NaCl is 58.5, KCl 74.5. Of simplification got 1.172. So this is the answer for this second question. So this is a B question answer. This is the A question answer. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching our video. This is the most important topic, complicated topic. That's why we are breaking this one into two parts. The next part said solid state 2, we will come with more interesting and high level thinking questions also we will ask. Okay. Until bye bye. Have a nice day.